I got my first guest joining me right now. He's an Indy Pro Wrestler, and he's a contestant for the TNA Gut Check bracket, which, by the way, just reopened the voting as of right now. I'm joined with the modern legend, DeAndre Jackson. He's with me right now. What's going on, DeAndre?
What is going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing real good, and thank you for joining me on the show this evening.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, we'll definitely get into the TNA Gut Check bracket in just a matter of moments. But let's focus on your wrestling career, how you get to this point. How did your wrestling career get started?
Oh, man, it's like any other kid. You know, you flip the channels, you see something, see two guys slamming each other, hitting each other, and it captures your eye. And, you know, I always wanted to follow the dream, and I always thought as a young kid you apply for like a job. Go in, you put an application, they hire you, and you become a wrestler. But, you know, little did I know, you have to put your time in, you got to train, you got to work hard, you got to move around, still learning, you know. Over 4.5 years, almost 5 years wrestling, you know, I'm blessed to be where I'm at right now. Started in Spartanburg at the American Pro Wrestling School. And I bounced around with some other guys here and there, worked with guys in South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina area, and then expanded out and hit as many seminars and promotions as I can and go wherever I can and wherever my pocket would take me. So, you know, that's how I get to the point I am right now. I'm happily blessed to be here.
Who were your favorite wrestlers growing up?
Oh, man, future Hall of Famer Booker T comes to my mind straight off the back. Guy that always captured my eye. Jason Thunder Liger because he was so unique and so innovative. Brian Pillman, I can go on for days. Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, of course. Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. And, you know, as I've grown in this business, this sport, I've learned to have a new love for other guys, you know, Lou Thesz, Frank Gotch, Antonio Inoki, Great Muta, Masahiro Chono, people like that. And, you know, those are some of my influences and where I draw my inspiration from and footage I study.
You mentioned Booker T, who, by the way, is also one of my favorite wrestlers, and it's great to see him being inducted into the Hall of Fame this coming weekend. And, you know, throughout the years, you know, it's took some time for African-American wrestlers to get the opportunities that they are getting. And to see wrestlers like Booker, to see wrestlers like Juan Simmons, Coco Beware, Junkyard Dog, Tony Atlas. I mean, the list goes on and on. You being an African-American yourself, getting yourself out there, how do you feel about some of the wrestlers I mentioned getting the opportunities that they have gotten? I mean, you trying to get where they at as far as getting an opportunity. How do you feel about some of the notable African-American wrestlers and the opportunities they've gotten?
You know, I'm not going to sit here and beat around the bush and be like, oh, yeah, there's no difference. But, you know, you really got to look at it. The landscape of African-Americans, Latinos, and Asians is a very slim picking within the professional wrestling world. And, you know, the guys at the top, Diva and Mark Henry, Ron Simmons, Coco Beware, you know, those guys, they worked their butt off. They stayed focused. They kept working. They went through adversity. Good friend of mine, Sir Mo from Men on the Mission. If you remember that tag team, him and Mabel. You know, Mo tells me all the time about how he got his big break. You know, him and Mabel stayed on the road. They went up to Smoky Mountain Championship Wrestling with no money. Jim Cornette didn't know they were coming. They weren't contacted. They didn't have a tryout match. They just showed up, and they took the shot, and they made the most of it. And then you saw what happened. They got a job in WWE, and, you know, they both were successful, you know. So, I mean, as African-American male trying to make it to the top, you know, even become a standout name on the independent wrestling circuit, world, where have you, you know, I just say you got to stay focused. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep your name out there. you got to stay getting better, stay in the gym, hitting every seminar you can. That was a big thing for me. I got to meet a guy I like to watch, MVP. I went to the seminar of his, and he said, stay constant. I didn't used to take my health too serious. I was like, I'm a big guy. That'd be my niche. I can do this, do that. And I suffered a pretty heavy, health scare back in 2011. I had an inflamed pancreas. And, it was then I finally got on I got to get healthy. So I hit the gym. That was one of the big things. I got to have that look of a wrestler to make it to the top. I just can't be this big guy. I got to have the look. I got to have the knowledge for it. I got to study. I got to be here, be there. I got to expand. I just can't sit in my one area and hope and constantly. I got to push. And, that's the big thing for any wrestler, white, black, Latino, Asian, however you got to keep pushing. You can't just stay in your area. You got to be focused. You got to push hard until something happens.
So with that said, let's go and get into the TNA Gut Check bracket situation. It started a while back. Then the voting was suspended for a while, and as of today, they've resumed the voting process. It's a lot different. You can go to challenge.tnagutcheck.com, and I believe you are in bracket number 7, and it's gonna be a while before people can start voting for you. What's your thoughts on the whole Gut Check voting system that they had and the Gut Check voting system that they have now? What's your take on the changes that they have going on?
Man, that's crazy because, when I got the email for the first Gut Check, I was pretty excited. I didn't know, if it was just a couple of people, or it was everybody. And I found out it was everybody. I was like, okay. And then they came out with the first brackets, and I was like, this is going to be kind of hard now. Like everybody else, I got out, texts, calls, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, what have you. I just got out there and basically pushed and said, hey, vote, 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 vote. And then, it went from top person in each bracket at this certain date, then it went to top 3 until this date, then it went to you can vote as many times as you want, and then it just kind of spiraled out of control. And at that last point when it just went crazy, I was kind of like, a lot of other people, I was just kind of like, I don't know about this. And then, they suspended it, and they came back around the second time. I was still kind of iffy. Now, I still am a tad bit iffy on if it's still going to work. But, I see they changed it to where you have to actually register to vote. So that might, play a big part. And again, it might not. You never know. Only time can tell. I'm no psychic. I can't foresee the future. I can only see, what's happening now and just hope for the best. And, in the end, hopefully I do get a shot, if cards play out right. If not, just stay, like I said, stay out there, stay pushing, stay hustling.
That's a good attitude considering there was a lot going on. There was a lot of speculation. A lot of people are accusing people of cheating and such. And, wrestlers are wrestlers, but, computer, I don't know. It's just something that needed to be fixed, and it's good that, and I like this new voting. People have to register this time, and actually vote. I guess that was an obvious way to continue the whole process. So, but I guess what makes
it's a lot. I've heard the speculations. I've read the speculations. I think I read something earlier tonight come across my Facebook talking about they don't trust the TNA Gut Check because it's a quote unquote work. But they said they use the voting with the West Briscoe deal with Aces and Eights. But at the same time, you can turn around and say, well, how many times has WWE itself said you can vote, but then turned around and did something else? You never know. It is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. If somebody who truly deserves it gets it, okay. If not, if it becomes a quote unquote work, then that's what it'll be. You can't change it. You can only hope for the best. You can only get people to vote for you. You can only vote for the person you want to make it to the next round, and that's all it is.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up with the whole Wes Briscoe situation and where he's at right now. I mean, that was a bit too obvious, but like you said, I mean, only thing you control is you going out there and performing, and you get enough votes to make it far. I mean, all you can do is go out there and do your thing. I mean, everything else will fall into place, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So, other than the gut check bracket, what are some upcoming matches that you'd like to promote? Any upcoming shows you're going to be a part of?
Oh man, let's see. I got a little list of shows out through April. Let's start actually this Saturday. I make my debut for Platinum Championship Wrestling / Empire, however you want to call it. It's going to be at the main event, 2001 Main Street in Porterdale, Georgia. So if you're in that Atlanta area, come on out. Bell time, 6 p.m. April the 12th, next Friday. Southern States Wrestling, 22 years of history in that promotion alone. It's going to be at the Armed Forces Center in Mount Carmel, Tennessee. Bell time, 8 o'clock. I'll be going up there. I've been doing my thing for a year strong. Big part of a lot of history going through that promotion. April the 20th, Red River Pro Wrestling, in his debut show in Center, Texas, presents a Southern premiere at the Jim Booth Arena at the County Expo Center, 1087 Highway 7, Center, Texas. Bell time, 7 p.m. Not the center of Texas, but a city in Texas called Center. Then the next night, April 21st, Old School Championship Wrestling, OSCW, the place where I started in my rookie year, the Hanahan Rec Center, 3100 Maybelline Road, Hanahan, South Carolina. If you're driving down there, in the area, and coming out, it's behind Trident Tech. And bell time's at 5 p.m., and special guest is going to be Gangrel's, been at the past couple of shows and hosts tag team titles, Dr. Creole. And then May 4th, I will be attending something I'm very excited for, and that will be a Harley Race Seminar in North Carolina. And a big shout-out to Jason Morgan, Q.R. Carmichael, and a couple other guys for helping put that together. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So a lot of things in store for you. Make sure you all check out the shows. I'm joined with the modern legend DeAndre Jackson right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Make sure you support this man in the TNA Gut Check bracket.
Can I plug something else right quick?
Yeah. Go right ahead, sir. Go right ahead.
If you want to keep up with Southern States Wrestling, you can go to www.kingofkingsport.com. Also, a new promotion I'm working with, Global Wrestling Promotions, GWP, www.gwpwrestling.com. My Facebook, facebook.com/Modern Legend Status. Twitter, @TheModernLegend, DaModernLegend. Instagram, same name. Tout, same name. Flickr, same name. Skype, if I'm on, same name. Tumblr, same name. Then my website, www.modernlegendstatus.weebly.com. And for anybody that wants to book me, man, I'm always available for bookings or appearances, bar mitzvahs, hosting a party, what have you. modernlegendarystatus@gmail.com. Shout out to Mario, who makes some of my gear, Heal the Face gear with Betty and Josie Cage. Shout out to my friends with Dreadnet, Go Out Music Entertainment, Constant Kudos, and Deluxe One Enterprise.
I just heard you say bar mitzvahs, man. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I do bar mitzvahs. I do it all, man. I'm multi-talented. I get up there, I dance, I sing karaoke, what have you.
I feel you, man. Jack of all trades. I feel you, man. That's nice, man. That's very cool. In your wrestling career, what do you consider like the highlight of your career? It could be a match that you had, or storyline, or angle you was a part of, or maybe a championship you have won. What do you consider the highlight of your wrestling career thus far?
One thing I think I'm most proud of, Southern States Pro Wrestling gave me the biggest opportunity to come up there and really expand myself as a wrestler and as a character in the ring and do things I didn't get to do. And one of the biggest highlights and, one of the things I'm most proud of was holding the title that has 22 years of history behind it, the Southern States Tennessee Heavyweight Championship. And, it was something I didn't take for granted. I'm kind of sad I lost the title, but at the same time, it's just pushing me to go on for something else. And, a guy that's been behind me since I stepped foot in Southern States Pro Wrestling, the King for it, handsome Bo James, a guy that's really pushed me and always good to answer my questions anytime I had one, no matter what time of day or night, And if you want to know about a guy that's done it all, worked in Memphis territory, look up Bo James. He had his previous book, Do You Want to Be a Wrestler, Kid? And he's coming out with his new book, I believe, sometime later this year. But, that's one of the biggest things, holding that Southern States Tennessee Heavyweight Championship.
My last question for you is, if you can give anyone advice to anyone out there that wants to pursue their career as a wrestler, what would your advice be?
Then one thing is you really, really got to be focused. You got to have the heart, determination. You got to really push for it. Second thing is you got to be prepared for like pain and sacrifices and broken relationships. Not only with girlfriends, or, old boyfriends from females that want to get into it, but also with your family and with your friends. It's going to be times when they want to go out, but you got to show and just say, hey, do I really want to push myself to be better and go higher and go further, or do I want to spend a night out with my friends on the town? Once you do that, find yourself a good reputable trainer. Bob Keller in Columbia, South Carolina, has trained a couple of guys, John Schuyler, some other Kevin Phoenix, and Jesse Wyndham. There's other great schools in the area down in Atlanta, the WWW4 Academy, I believe it is. Bo James is a guy that can teach you great things. Main Event Center, I think it is, down in Florida. Everywhere, if it's a good school, do your research. Just don't go to anybody that says, hey, I'm a trainer, and, they take you money. Do your research. Go to somebody that really is going to help mold you and teach you the things that you need to know and teach you how to be a great wrestler, But once you do that, once you get in there, get on the road, push for everything, make yourself look good, everything, and stay faithful. You're going to have your hard times, but if you keep pushing, in the end, it's going to be worth it. I've had my days where I've had my disappointments and setbacks, but I've also had my days of great accomplishments and things I'm most proud of. So anybody that's out there saying, hey, I want to get into wrestling, be serious about it. Keep the heart and determination and really find somebody that can help mold you into a great wrestler and not just be there to snatch your money and say, hey, I'm a wrestler and kind of screw you over.
Well said, man. Well said. One thing for sure, wrestling is something you should not take for granted. Putting your bodies on the line, you got a lot of people relying on you, counting on you to make it happen. And if it's something that you can't do, you can't handle, then this wrestling business it's not for everybody. And it's not for
it is not. It's not.
So if you can't take the punishment, if you can't take the pain, then it's not for you. It's not for you whatsoever. Well, DeAndre, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Good luck to you in the bracket. You have my vote. Make sure y'all vote for DeAndre Jackson on the TNA Gut Check bracket. You are in bracket number 7, I believe.
7.
Yeah, you.
Voting starts the 28th to the 30th.
Wow.
Of April.
So
I got a little while out, so maybe that might give me time to pull in more votes and get more people behind me.
That sounds good, man. Thank you for your time. You have a good night.
You too, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was the modern legend, DeAndre Jackson, joining me here, kicking things off here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.